So then I look at her again, and then for some reason I said, I'll murk you. Right.
I was wanking him off as much as I was trying to squeeze this guy for everything he was worth. I reckon, I think so. I've never felt so loved before in my life.
Welcome back to Critical Banter, the podcast that brings a Friday drinks chat to you. This week's episode, we've got a new game called Taboo, and we're also bringing back our newly revamped top fives. But before that, trap of the week, we got me and Miguel back from Melbourne. We have Ro
G'day.
and Senny.
Yo. Got a couple of Melbourne yarns that
I'm not looking forward to this.
Well, one I'm not looking forward to.
One paints us in a very bad light. So let's go to the other first.
Let's start with the other one. Actually, I just want to read Miguel's story, reply to our story on Friday night.
Yeah.
Probably one of the funniest things. We went for dinner on the Friday night when we arrived in Melbourne. And let's just say we had a couple of drinks. You know, we were feeling good. And then we put up a story. And then all I see is I get a notification on my phone.
What was the story? First, what's the story?
It's a photo of me and Ro with a fine-looking Asian gentleman.
With a random Asian gentleman.
Well, once we tell the story, you'll realize he's actually a friend, a hermano, a brother.
From my perspective, a random.
And we put a little king emoji on him. And we said, personal wine tasting with Larry from Bancho Dining. A great guy, I have to say. And then all I see, I get a notification. It's Miguel. He's replied to our story, our own Critical Banter story. And he's just said, fuck is this?
We've started being very liberal with this podcast account, with our own personal affairs. And
yeah, we got weaseling from one end.
We have Ro trying to get cricket tickets the other month, which everyone piled on.
I was okay with that, to be honest. I think that's a good use of the podcast account. Whether or not this was a good use, I don't know.
That's why I question.
You be the judge.
Fuck is this?
Let's go.
So we got to this place, 8:30 booking. We got there on time for once. That was nice. We got there 8:25. And then they made us wait outside a bit. That's fine. All good. And we finally sit down and we were looking through the menu. And you know what? For once, Rose said he was keen to drink. And I was very excited. So we were looking through, the drinks menu. And I said, what's everyone feeling? And Rose said he wants some vino. And I'm like, do we go by the glass or should we just, treat ourselves, get a bottle? And Rose said, mathematically, it works out better to get a bottle. So we're looking through the bottles, and then I found a nice one. And Ro introduced me to a new app. Should we shout the app out? It's a great app.
Vivino.
So
you scan so the place that we went to was Japanese x French. So we're like, you know what? We're in the mood for some wine. So I grab out Vivino. You scan the wine list, and then it gives you kind of the ratings versus the price. It gives you like the best wine. So we decided on a beautiful little bottle, and we call the waitress.
4.2 rating, by the way.
Yeah, which by the way, it's like the Japanese rating, right? You're not looking like how Google reviews here. It's like if you're under 4.7, you're saying hit the bricks. 4.3, excellent wine for like $80. Like beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's just send it down the pipeline. Get the waitress, mate. Love, we'll have this one. Thank you very much. She then goes back. We're waiting, by the way, quite a long time.
Quite a bit of time.
And then Larry, the protagonist of this story, he enters the fray and he says, sorry, boys, we do not have the bottle of wine you're looking for. Let me bring you out some better ones. Oh, fantastic. Bring out some better ones. So he brings out the better ones, and then he shows us two separate bottles. I couldn't tell you the names of the wine. I couldn't tell you even the type of the wine. And then I have a look. I'm like, how much does this cost? He's like, oh, this is $200. This is $250. And I look at Sen, and Sen looks at me and says, yeah, we're looking for a good time, but we're not looking for a $250.
A good time, not an expensive time.
Yeah, that's right.
We were literally 3 hours into the trip. I simply couldn't afford to drop $200 on a wine.
We just dropped $850 on tickets.
Yeah, well.
And so Larry's offering us 2 bottles of wine, which is like 4 times the price of what we initially wanted. So I was honest with him. I said, look, Larry, I'll be honest, that's probably out of our budget. And he says, oh, no. We're just going to give you this bottle of wine for the same price as your old bottle of wine.
So 80 wax.
80 wax. And now I'm thinking, well, mate, which one's more expensive? Just shot down the pipeline.
I think that's exactly what you said.
No, I scanned the 2 bottles, Vivino King. I think actually the more expensive one was the better one.
Yeah.
Anyways, regardless, we get the bottle of wine, we get our food, and we're having a jovial old time.
So we have a bottle of wine, and then, I don't know, something about us attracted us to Larry for some reason, because he kept coming back by our table. And at this time, I think we realized, he was like the resident alcoholic, or the sommelier, as you will. So he came around a second time and he offered us, I'm pretty sure it was the other bottle of wine. He's like, I want you guys to try this. So he popped open the other bottle of wine and he gave us a glass and we all shared it. And we all, we were having a great time. And then I just asked, I was trying to, when did you start doing sommeliering? Blah, 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 blah. Like, you seem really nice. And then Rose said, most sommeliers are quite, what was the word you said?
I think I said uptight or pretentious
I think
or something like that.
And because this guy was pretty chill. Like, he was more keen to just have a drink with us but he was trying to teach us about the different wines. And then that was all he needed. He was like, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. Not all sommeliers are like this. And before we knew it, this guy came back with another bottle of wine and was getting us to try that. Then he's like, you know what? Do you guys want to try sake?
Absolutely would like to try sake.
And then he brought a bottle of sake out. He's like, do you guys want to try a better sake? And I'm like, brother, you don't need to ask. And then he brings this massive fuck off 2-liter bottle. You could kill someone with this. This is $1,000 bottle of sake.
It's flexing on you at this point.
Correct. And we were all for it. I was like, give me everything, brother. I was wanking him off as much as I was trying to squeeze this guy for everything he was worth. And I was trying to get as much free alky. So he gave us the $1,000 bottle of sake. And he's like, there's another more expensive bottle of sake. And he brought that out as well. And at this point, I reckon we'd had plenty.
Heaps. Like at that point, we had already had like 6, maybe 7 different glasses of whatever. Now he's bringing out the top shelf stuff.
And then we got to like dessert. And he's like, oh, you know what, guys? I've got a nice dessert wine. So he brings over this beautiful Riesling from Germany. I remember this because it was delightful. And he pulled up a chair and sat with us. He opened the bottle, poured all of us a glass. We finished the whole bottle. And then he's like, you know what? And then we were just talking about the business. We were talking about the restaurant.
Because it turns out he was the owner of Bancho.
I figured that halfway through the story.
He wasn't some waiter. Just
he would have been sacked if he was some waiter giving
on
you
his
like
last day, just trying to give away as much wine as possible. So then anyway, he gave us the Riesling. And then he's like telling us about the business. And he was saying about how some bottles are so rare. Like he only gets 1 or 2 a year. And he's like, let me show you one of them. And he shows us one of the bottles that he gets only 2 of every year. And it was, I forgot how much he said it was, but it was very expensive. And then he had it in front of us. And then he was just talking about it. He was just explaining it to us. And we're like listening and asking questions. And then he's like, do you guys want to try it? And at this point, we all looked at each other. And I'm like, I feel like we've already taken too much from this man.
Squeeze as much juice.
And I'm like, I simply can't ask you to open a bottle that you only get twice a year. But please do so. So then he went and got this machine where you don't have to fully uncork the bottle. You just shove like a straw inside it and you can just pour it out like that and still keep it closed, I guess. And so he poured us only 2 glasses. We're like, please don't waste the good stuff on us. And then, so I think at that point we had 8 or 9 glasses each or something like that. Something ridiculous.
Something ridiculous. But it seems as if we're saying gimme. It was actually a very lovely encounter.
No, it was a great
like he was teaching us and we were enjoying it. I think he was enjoying us enjoying the wines because obviously we're not buying $1,000 bottles of sake. So it was nice to see how the other side lives. But Larry was an absolute legend.
Yeah, he was.
So how many drinks deep were you?
We weren't done. We went to go pay the bill.
Yeah.
And then as a parting gift, this man gives us a bottle of rosé.
Gifts us a bottle of rosé.
And sends us on our way.
So is this the point where you're like, Larry, let's grab a pick?
Absolutely.
We asked
Or was
Larry,
it earlier on in the affair?
It was when he opened his bottle that he gets 2 of a year.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, well, we should, not just take, we should give him something in
back.
return.
Yeah.
And he got obviously mixed messaging for that story from you, Migs.
Man, no context. I'm like, who's this bloke, man?
But no, this guy, legend, Bancho, shout out, Larry, go see him, the owner. He is a very nice man.
I would say that's probably the best dining experience I've had.
I reckon, I think so. I've never felt so loved before in my life.
Because the food was all right.
Sorry?
Just in general.
The food was fine, but I don't know.
I'm sure when you're also 10 drinks in, the food becomes excellent. Does it not?
Yeah, because like a lot of the time we were drinking was basically after the food had finished. We'd have like the dessert and then we were just kicking on with Larry. He was just sitting down talking about his life, his other businesses and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, this guy's probably late 20s, early 30s, owned a restaurant.
Living
doing well
large.
for himself.
Yeah, doing very well for himself.
How you going,
Shout
Ro?
out.
You are a 1-2 drink merchant these days.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing, 10 or so.
I was so ravenous for the casino that night.
Dude, you were
It
a
was
menace at the
insane.
casino. You want to talk about Jenny?
Which one was Jenny?
The first night.
Who's Jenny?
Let me tell you the story then, Ro. So we went to the casino and we caught up with other people
Jenny.
as well.
This
Yeah.
is post Bancho.
So this is first night. We went to another bar and then we went to the casino. But yes, post Bancho, I was still
dealer.
walking around with that bottle of rosé. And then we played a bit of roulette. Me and my partner played some roulette. We won $100, pretty good. And then Ro had no interest in the roulette. You're like, I'm here for one thing only. Let's play some blackjack. So you watched us play roulette first. We were done. Then we went, all right, let's go watch you play some blackjack. And you walked around looking for a table. There was no $10 tables, no $15 tables. So you had to settle for
25.
So you sit down. You were pretty waved at this point.
Heavily waved.
Ro grabs me. He's like, can you pull up the strategy table, like the blackjack strategy table? So I pull out my phone and immediately, like there was a security guard or something. He's like, you have to put your phone away, sir. And I'm like, oh, I will be putting my phone away. You're right. I don't want any trouble here. And then I was like, Ro, you're on your own. So Ro starts playing blackjack. And to your credit, you started winning. And when
To
you
my
start,
credit, all me, actually. Not the luck, the fate of the gods in my hands.
I mean, blackjack's, I would say 20%, 30% skill, maybe. I don't know.
I didn't
We'll
know
see.
what I was doing, dude. I couldn't even add the numbers.
But you were doing well and you were getting happy. And every time you won a hand, you would be like, let's go, Jenny, let's go. And then Jenny would look at you and be like, where are we going? Where are we
Assuming
going?
Jenny's the dealer.
Jenny's the dealer.
right.
And she's like, where are we going? And you're like, no, I'm just saying, let's go. And she's like, no more, let's go.
No, I wasn't even saying it to her. I was saying it to my friend next to me because we met up with another friend
that's
and
right.
he was
Yes,
sitting
he
next,
was.
and we were both playing together. And so we were hyping each other up as we won hands. And then Jenny was just having none of it. She was like, yeah, where are we going? I was like,
She just kept saying, where are we going to?
just please relax, man. Just deal the cards, please.
She was weirdly hostile, but also funny at the same time.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah.
get a vibe on her.
Was it funny intentionally or unintentionally?
I still don't know,
I
man.
have no idea.
Were you laughing with her or at her?
I was laughing more at Ro and then a bit with her. It was a weird dichotomy. Anyway, that was the end of the first night.
Second night, I sacked the second night. We'll go to the race.
Oh, I was going to say the second night you were winning big time.
Oh, the second night I actually won quite a bit
Went
of money.
back to the casino.
Of course we did.
So the second night we went back to the casino, I was playing blackjack again, except it was a Saturday night. Or it was a Sunday night, I think, and it was super
Saturday
busy.
was packed.
Yeah, Saturday night. Just
Did you
after
have a
the
read
race.
of the strategy table beforehand or?
Yeah, I did. And I was also not waved. So
You
I
had a
was,
human strategy table next to you.
and so what I did, we went to the casino, it was packed. I was looking for that $25 table. Obviously, all
And
the
Jenny.
all the cheapos were at that table. So I was like, oh, bro, this is annoying. I was only going to play with $100. So I then found a $50 table. I've never played what I call high stakes blackjack.
Man, that's
Yeah.
high stakes.
And so I sit down, and then the dealer's name is Eugene, and I wanted to build a nice rapport with Eugene. Eugene then like looks at me weirdly, and he's like, "Are you from Sydney?" I was like,
Tell you
"Is
that,
it- is
that
that
was
obvious?"
jarring when he
was
said that.
So jarring.
Yeah, you asked him, how can you tell?
How can you tell? I was like, how is it that obvious that I'm from Sydney? And he's like, "Oh no, are you guys online?" I was like, "Yes, we
Let's
are,
go,
Eugene.
Eugene.
All right, fan of the pod, please, Eugene, deal us
Shout
some
out,
cards."
Eugene.
And to be fair to this guy, he was dealing me so many good cards. It was crazy. I must have joined when the deck was hot because he was just dealing me King, Jack, King,
By
Jack.
coincidence, of course. No,
No. We would never say that about Gene. But yeah, you were getting face cards deluxe.
Yeah, deluxe. And so, yeah, $50 table. I came out with like $250. I was like, this is, what a day.
Incredible.
What a day.
How much you slipped to Eugene?
Nothing, mate. I said, Eugene, thank you for supporting. I tried to shake his hand and he.
It's not allowed, mate.
Not
Yeah,
allowed.
you can't touch him.
So he gave me a fist bump instead.
Thanks
So
for the memories, brother.
shout out
Because
Eugene.
you can't shake the head just for that exact reason that you could slip him a 50 or something.
I would have slipped him a 50 if he shook my hand. I want to shake his hand. But then comes Sunday, the race day. Well,
The main event.
we've all been here for.
Is there a race on Saturday? Is there no race?
Qualifying.
Oh, okay.
So you qualify on the Saturday and then the race is on the Sunday.
The Sunday is like really rainy, so we've all got ponchos on. We're like, all right, we'll see how we go. We get to our grandstand, and if you remember from the Ticketmaster debacle, we had four of us: Sen, me, Cindy, Pranker. Cindy and Pranker sat together. Sen and I sat separately. I sat in a restricted area with restricted view. So that was the situation we found ourselves in. But whatever, it was raining, so the race was kind of chaotic. Race finishes. What happened next?
So the race finishes and then, we were all sitting in separate areas, but we're like, we'll meet back where the girls are and we'll take some photos, blah, blah, blah. We can have a chat. So we all go there. We were talking. We were watching like the post-race interviews and then that was all done. And then we're like, all right, let's take some photos. So obviously there's seats and then there's like the stairs that go down the grandstand. So like, obviously we're not going to stand in a row in the seats taking a photo. We're not lining up for a football game, before the match. So we congregated on the stairs and, stood in a 2-2 formation and took a photos, whatever.
So you're saying on the stairs?
On the stairs. And then this lady walked up past us while we were taking a photo because we were like kind of congregating and she kind of like pushed us out of the way and she went up. And then we were taking our photos and then we took the photos and then we loitered. We didn't go back into like the little grandstand, like into the seats area. We loitered on the stairs. And then all I hear suddenly out of nowhere in my right ear was a move. And I'm like, excuse me. And I turn around and that old lady was trying to come back down. And so I'm like, all right. So I moved away a bit and she starts shuffling her way down. And then I leaned over to these guys and I'm like,
Well, because I asked, like, what happened?
yeah.
And then you said,
I said, Jesus Christ. She just yelled in my ear. Mind you, she was about 3 centimeters away from me when I said it. So she turns around immediately and looks at me and is like, what did you just say? And I said, I wasn't talking to you, bro. Just keep walking.
Did you say that? Is that what you said?
That is actually what I said.
Word for word, verbatim?
word.
All right,
Yes,
here we go.
Word for word. And then that's it. It kicked off immediately.
Massive kickoff.
Bro, this woman, she's like, if it's too loud, why'd you come to the F1? And I'm like, bro, just shut up and keep walking. Like, it's not that deep. And we were just having verbals on the stairs now. And that went for maybe like 20 seconds.
What was being said?
Oh, it was mostly her.
No,
dude.
dude, I felt like I was in a UFC press conference. Like Conor McGregor was just yelling in my face.
Who was Connor, Sen or the woman?
No, the
Her,
woman.
bro.
The woman was absolutely. She was kicking off for no reason, for some reason, but unjustified. She's like, like you guys are so rude. Like get the hell out of my face. All this and that. She was screaming.
And
to
mind
us.
you, there were other people in the grand. Like most people had left the grandstand, but there was still a smattering of people.
So this
And
wasn't
everyone
an
was
empty
looking.
stand. There was people.
There were still people there.
And then she was just running her mouth. Like you couldn't even get a word
Yeah,
in.
dude, she was verbal barbs from her.
Was
Man.
she with anyone?
At that point, we just thought she was alone.
Right. So she's okay.
So then we're trying to get a word and be like, look, can you just leave? Which is like, can you just please leave? We're just chilling here, right? We have no business with you, really.
Yeah.
But she just kept going on and on and on. So we're like, all right, we're making a scene here. We'll leave. Like,
Yeah.
we'll be the bigger people.
So
We'll leave.
she kept walking down the stands and she went to wherever she was. And then we stood there and we like picked up all of our stuff and we started to walk down as well. And then as we were walking down, I could see she was like literally on the last row before you turn down into the stairs.
So you had to walk past her
You
to
had
leave.
to walk past
Yeah.
her.
Okay.
And I looked and I turned around to all these guys and I'm like, should I say something to her as I walk past? And Praga looked at me and was like, please don't say anything. So I'm like, you know what? Fine. I'll be the bigger man. And I walked away. Luckily, she had no such morals about her. So we were walking past and she starts barking again immediately, just chirping away.
What now?
And she was, again, just same stuff. It's like, don't tell me to shush. Because I think someone told her to shush. It might have been me or it might have been you. I can't tell.
Yeah.
But she's like, don't you ever tell me to shush ever again, blah, blah, blah. And she just starts going off immediately. And at this point, there was a security guard standing at the bottom of the stairs. And it was like this poor Nepalese girl, like maybe 20 years of age. And she's like, what the fuck is happening? What should I do? And I'm like, it's all good. Don't worry. It's fine. Mind you now, out of nowhere, her daughter comes. And
Yeah.
she starts barking at us as well. And I remember distinctly, I just looked at her daughter. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
By daughter, all right. By daughter, is it like a 5-year-old daughter or is it a
no.
20-year-old?
She's like probably similar our age, maybe a bit younger.
Okay.
Let's say
24,
early
25.
20s.
Okay. Okay.
I literally looked at her. I'm like, bro, no one was talking to you. Who are you?
When, bro?
And then she's like, it's my daughter coming to defend me. Don't talk to my daughter like that. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Wait, so what
off,
did you
bro.
say? Did you say that?
I literally looked at her daughter. I'm like, who are you? Like, who asked you? Like, you go away. I told her to piss off. And then at this point, we were basically at the bottom of the stairs. And then there was one more stairway to basically fully leave the grandstand.
Sure.
And I, at this point, was like, all right, we've caused a scene. I'm going to remove myself. So I started walking down. I'm like, all right, let's just get out of here. And then, bro, you take it from here because I actually don't know what happened.
No, so then she's dropped a line,
She being
the woman,
okay.
not the daughter. Daughter's
Karen,
gone.
let's call her Karen.
Daughter's left. She was full decked in Ferrari gear as well.
So Italian Karen.
Italian Karen. She's
Carena.
dropped in a, you guys are not from here,
Oh, boys.
right? I actually heard, I'm not from here. So she's like, I thought she was like a guest visiting Australia and like we've caused this whole situation,
Yeah.
right? So I'm like, whatever. Then she's like following us down the tunnel for no reason.
She started following us.
We're leaving.
We're leaving. Yeah.
We're out of there. But she's following us again, Conor McGregor in my ear, right? So then I was just fed up at this point. I look her dead in the eye, and to be fair, I delivered the line with venom,
Okay.
animosity. I just told her in no, polite terms, to just leave her alone, you pig, right? A little bit more colorful language than that.
Because at this point, she was also attacking the girls as well.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've had enough of this situation.
How venomous was this statement, Senny?
Quite venomous.
It was pretty venomous.
It was from both sides. I'm not going to say Ro was the only one in the wrong. It was from both sides.
Of course, I wasn't the only one in the wrong. Dare I suggest this wasn't even that wrong? Just venomously told her
continue.
to leave us alone,
So
right?
you told her to jog on in very colorful language.
Very colorful.
Okay,
language.
I got.
No, there's more words that were used.
I can read between the lines.
So then she has then started physically assaulting me.
Yeah.
So then now
Is this actual physical or is
Yeah,
this
no.
No, this is-
with mayo?
No,
this is actual physical stuff.
What
She's like,
happened?
She's like grabbing me by the shirt, like I had a poncho in.
confronted him. Mind you, okay, I feel like we haven't painted
Can
a
you
picture.
paint this-
This woman, let's say mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
And
50s,
I'm not saying
50s.
to 60s. And I'm not saying this because we Uster, but morbidly obese. Morbidly obese. About 5'4".
Yeah, 5 nothing.
5'0".
So like same height as you, right?
She was using an umbrella to walk down the stairs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the picture. Now I'm getting shirt
So not
fronted.
really, not exactly an Anthony Joshua kind of figure.
How did she get in range to shirt front you?
She ran after us because we were walking away.
Anyways.
She was waddling.
She was waddling, but we were trying to walk away from the situation.
Yeah.
So she kind of caught us off guard. And then she turned around, she shirt fronted Ro. And then what else did you say to her?
No, then I said, so she was shirt fronting me, right? She's just dropped the racist comment that I didn't hear. But
Then she said it again.
No, she didn't say it again. But she said those words. She's shirt fronting me. I'm sitting there like, I'm in no danger here. This is actually kind of funny, right? So then I look at her again, and then for some reason I said, I'll murk you, right?
Murk, right? Murk.
She's then heard.
And I heard as well.
She's
Bro,
then.
you said murk.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought she would
What
get
is
that line.
2015 Stormzy or some shit, bro? I'll murk you, mate.
No, but then she's heard, I'll murder
Yeah,
you.
that's what I would think.
And
Yes.
I heard I'll murder you as well. And I'm like, this is outrageous. And at that point, and then she was actually grabbing you.
No, she's grabbing me with the umbrella, just trying to swat
she
me.
had an
Like,
umbrella.
Wait. She's trying to like hit you on top of the shirt
She hit him
fronting.
with the umbrella.
she's shirt fronting me, hitting me, and trying to swipe me with the umbrella. So I'm
Alright,
getting
sure.
the business, but like in reality, this is like a 6-year-old woman, right? It's actually not doing that much damage. My poncho's all ripped. My
It's
clothes
just
are all
annoying
cooked.
at this point.
It's just annoying. Okay.
So then your partner tries to like get involved as well. And I picked her up and pulled her away. I'm like, bro, there's enough, all right?
All 4'5" is not
I
doing
can't
anything.
deal
right?
with all of you getting into a fight right now.
So then,
What are you doing in this, by the way, Senny?
I instigated it. I'll be honest. When in the debrief, I'm like, I wanted her to hear my initial comment. I was looking for her. I wanted to kind of.
I know that part, right?
So then at the same time, when we were having those, fisticuffs on the stairway, I was just thinking about the optics of this. For, let's say immigrants fighting this one 50-year-old white woman.
It's not a good
It's
look.
not a good look.
For you and your country.
So then at that point, I decided I want to leave. So I tried to walk us out, and Moses leading the Israelites out of Egypt. I was trying to lead us out of there, to a better place. Ro, on the other hand, we get to the tunnel, and all I'm hearing is Ro telling she's going to murder a 50-year-old.
I didn't say murder.
So when he's saying he's going to murder
got in
her,
her face. Ro got in her face. She's like, what are you going to do? And Ro's like, I will murk you. And then she's like, yeah. And then Ro's like, try me.
jeez. Wait, so
gone too far.
where are you physically in this? Because they're there, shirt front. He's shirt fronted
So the way
right
it
now.
works, grandstand, the stairs come down.
Right.
And then there's a little landing where the security guard was, and then another stairway into like below
Yes.
the stand.
Yes.
So it's like a hollow stand.
Sure.
And there's a little tunnel that takes you to the outside.
Yes.
So all of this happened in the tunnel where there was no other witnesses.
I just want to know if you are like Dana White right here. You're like in the middle of them, just watching what's going on.
No. It was me and her, and then basically Sen, Prank, Cindy kind of behind me.
Yeah,
Right.
Because she's just, us and me, essentially, right?
So you've told her you're going to murder her.
I didn't say
Alright.
murder. I would never threaten murder.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
it
she
was
heard,
wild.
right? So,
She also
it's-
thought you called her a bitch, but you called her a pig, which was
Yeah.
much better.
So her hearing's also gone wrong somewhere.
All right. So we get to that point. What now?
And then we...
You threatened murder. What happens after
I
the
didn't
threatened
threaten
life?
murder.
Threatened her life.
So there was fisticuffs, and then I had to like physically separate Ro, Cindy, and the woman. And then
Then there's
at
Dana
this
White
point,
coming here.
The security guard had followed us down the tunnel as well because she heard more commotion. And she saw this woman coming, and she saw her brandishing an umbrella towards us. Mind you, it's an umbrella. It was going to do no damage.
Sure.
And then we came out of the tunnel, and we came to like the big open area. And then suddenly there was like 4 or 5 security guards coming out of nowhere because I think the security guard had called other
Yep,
people to
of
come.
course.
And at this point, I didn't know what had happened. I thought it was just because we were arguing. But they're like, "Do you want to make a formal complaint?" Blah 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 blah. And Cindy's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "No. I want
As
to
in,
go, bro."
you or her?
Us.
Okay.
And I'm like, "Why would we started it? Why would we make a formal complaint?" And then we walked away. And Cindy's like, "Oh, she made a racist comment to us." And I'm like, "Fuck! If you told me that." Because the entire time when I was arguing,
So you didn't know as well.
when I was yelling at the woman, I'll be honest, I was hoping and I was praying and I was waiting for her to make some sort of racist comment because then anything I say or do after this is fair game. So she never said anything, which I was so surprised. And I remember we walked away and I was like, I'm really proud of that woman. She didn't make a racist comment. I feel like she would. She seems exactly like the type who would. And then Cindy's like, oh, she did. you didn't hear it. I'm like, fuck. I really wanted to. And then I was like, fuck, let's go back and make a complaint there. But then Ro's like, we'll be standing in the rain for half an hour making a complaint about this 50-year-old woman for no reason.
For no reason.
So anyway, we the security guys all came. She fucked off back into the grandstand to go see her troll daughters. And then we decided, you know what? Let's just get out of here. That's enough excitement for one afternoon. But this all happened in the space of like 5, maybe 10 minutes at most.
Max.
Dude, it was hectic, man.
All right. What do you want from me?
I just want your thoughts about our behavior. Obviously, Sen and I's hand is up.
Oh, yeah.
There was a lot of carry on.
A lot of carry from her.
From you as well, boys.
Of course, yeah. No, we take accountability for our actions.
Because everything that you've said has not surprised me. Anyone you have a chirp in has not surprised me. You losing your head in the heat of battle is not surprising at all. Is there anything? But then again, if I was in that situation,
you would have done the same.
Dude, this lady,
I would be as hot-headed, if not more.
Describe just how much of a pest this woman was.
But aggressive. Pest is like,
the fact that she's put her hands on you as well has taken a step further than just, a bit of verbals.
Yeah, a bit of back and forth, I think is just fair game in this situation.
I think it evens out. Like, he said, she said.
Because a typical story would be like the verbals, and then when you walk down the stairs, she's maybe has one more jab, and then lets you walk away.
Yeah,
but then it's just Charlie Chaplin in a blind field, just beating you with an umbrella.
Did she look scared when you told her you were going to murder her?
She was enraged. Because she knew we weren't going to do anything. Like, we can't. Like, well, we're not going to put our hands on an elderly woman, bro. That's mental.
My hands were literally behind my back as I just let her do what she willed. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, her stupid daughters came as well and were trying to bark as well. I'm like, bro,
wait, so they barked and what happened?
So they said they I don't know what these daughters
did they come bark and left?
They let their mom just run after us because they didn't come down the tunnel with her. It was just the mom.
Would have liked to see some de-escalation from the daughters as well.
Yeah, so that was my annoyance with the daughters were you guys weren't even involved. So what happened was I think the mom went and told the daughters, oh, these group of immigrants told me to shush or whatever. More or less what she probably told them.
Right.
And then this idiot came out of nowhere and started barking at it. Instead of trying to de-escalate, like Rose said, and like trying to figure out what happened, she immediately came and like was throwing barbs as well. Like mother, like daughter.
I can't fault the daughters.
Yeah,
Because imagine you're that, right? Your mum comes up to you and says, these group of people have been... No, of course her side of the story is going to be a bit, skewed.
No, but it seems like this woman is a psycho and it seems like she does this often. So I would have been like the boy who cried wolf. Like, come on, did they actually do that to you?
Yeah, but then if that trickles down, nurture versus nature. They've been nurtured to feel her mum's a victim. So if I'm that situation, I'm backing my mum as well.
Right, so let's go through the situation, right? We were blocking the grandstand. That's on us.
Yeah, put your hands up.
She said it a couple of times. I didn't hear, and then she yelled in my ear. Fine, that's again probably on me as well.
Either way, a beautiful, tap on the shoulder. Excuse me.
So you're not happy with the move?
Yeah, no. I think she said get out of the way or something. It was some aggressive. It was an action. It wasn't a question.
All right. So our hand is up for the loitering. She's in the wrong maybe for yelling in Sen's ear.
Okay.
Then is Sen in the wrong for explaining the story to us, being like, oh, she yelled in my ear. A bit more loudly than maybe he should have.
Yes.
Really?
Because because I know him. He knows she's there, bro.
Okay.
No. He's not innocent in thinking, I didn't think she would hear. She knows she would hear. So he's in the
If
that's
I
why he's in
didn't
the
say anything, this story wouldn't have happened.
Okay. So let's say...
And if he did it respectfully as well, not trying to like escalate some situation, it wouldn't have happened as well.
Okay. So let's say we're in the wrong again for that. Then her UFC style press conference. What do we say about that?
Motor mouth, dude. She was incredible. Just jab.
Was she in the right for doing it?
Yeah, as in...
No, of course not.
Right, so now it's 2-2 at this stage. Then she drops the racist comment, which we didn't hear, but we did understand.
That should automatically be like, we win.
Okay.
It's like catching the golden snitch in Quidditch. We have to win there.
So we didn't hear that. Then, obviously, my hand is up for a couple of colourful comments. Then where do we stand with her?
The physical.
You want more grab some more people?
That's also not on. Nothing in this story is right.
I think Branko has a photo because your poncho got ripped when she grabbed you. I think we have a photo of that, so we'll
put that up on the socials.
Because at the end of the day, you should be the bigger man, right? But in the heat of battle, it's hard to be that way.
We were trying to be the bigger man by walking away. It was
and calling her a pig. And then calling out her behavior right in her ear.
To be honest,
telling her you're gonna fucking murk her.
The pig comment was just one for the road. I thought I was gonna give her one, and then we're just gonna call it a day. I didn't expect to be.
You didn't expect the consequences of your actions.
Your actions, exactly. But anyways, our hands are up. Obviously, not a great look for the.
What would you have done differently then, boys? We've This has happened?
I mean,
What's our learnings as humans?
I mean, a sensible person would say that I shouldn't have said anything to begin with. But me looking back myself, I wish I heard the racist comment because then I would have gone even harder.
Okay.
I would have said all sorts of weight jibes, race jibes. It's all fair.
So you have no remorse that this situation happened?
Oh, no. Whatever happens, right?
I think
Damn, bro. Damn.
I think he would have been fine if after I think the verbal barbs are fine, but in the tunnel we should have just called it a day. We should have escorted ourselves out.
I mean, 3 of us did, Ro.
Yeah. Well. I just want to give her 1 just because Sen was.
I feel like I would have had very colourful language in this
was a lot of colourful
scenario.
language.
Yeah, I was going to say, you would have lost your head as much as we did.
No, but anyways.
Mass head loss.
All right, enough. We've gone about this for long. Critical Banter podcast.
So you put your hands up. At the end of the day, put your hands up. There's some wrong you've done in this situation.
Absolutely
I
wrong.
regret it.
On us.
Right, all in all, good Melbourne trip. Ussing aside, boys.
Yeah, the race was delightful, I would say.
Great trip.
All right, we'll move on from Ussing old women. I've got a quick one. Have you boys heard of Pastor Andrew? Pastor being a church figure,
I
not
was trying to think, is this a new restaurant that I need to try?
not the cuisine.
Okay.
Have you heard of him?
Never.
No? All right. So there is this TLDR. There is this couple online. They have a podcast, I believe. It's a married couple. The male is a pastor of a church, and the woman is an everyday civilian working 9 to 5, whatever. And on the podcast recently, it has been revealed.
I do know.
You've seen this?
No, Cindy told me about this.
I'll delight you with it, Senny.
Please.
Recently, has been revealed that she is, I believe, pregnant now, and she is currently working 2 jobs. Currently pregnant. She is the main breadwinner of the family. Given the guy is, with the church, he doesn't really earn any income or a big income, whatever it may be. So she's earning a lot of the keep. And turns out what this guy does outside of church is just sit in his ass, I think play Valorant and do nothing. So he's a bum, right? And this is all over the internet. Like they have talked about this openly in the podcast. And there's clips of her being like, sometimes I think about if I married a rich guy, or sometimes I would think she's like, I don't know how to communicate to you without you feeling upset that I'd like you to do more for the house. Like that sort of thing.
Bro, not everything needs to be put on the internet.
Right.
Man.
So there's a lot of details about their marriage that are online, right?
Jeez.
Why would you do that?
And then another one is before they got married, it took the woman's father a month to give them the blessing for the marriage. So he was mulling it over for like a month, like, I don't know if I approve this guy, et cetera, et cetera.
Why. He's probably right.
And then and there's also clips of this guy's sermon where he's going on about, he's like whining about their home life. For example, one of them is like, he goes like, there's this person in my house. When I try to speak Korean, she makes fun of me. She films me. Because I think she's Korean and he's like Chinese or something. So she's.
I was picturing white people from like Alabama or some shit.
They're Asian, right? So he's going on this person in my house, not wife. Person in my house is when I try to speak Korean, she's humiliating me. Like she's saying all this in a church sermon.
What
right?
the hell?
Yeah, where's the tie back to the Bible?
Exactly. I don't know. There's no ties here. So
Airing it out.
So this is all on the internet and it's blown up all on TikTok. Everyone on, I think her name's Sarah. Sarah's side. Have you heard this? Get rid of your bum husband, all this and all that.
Surely.
That's what I wanted to present to the pod. I don't know if I've missed any details here. Do you know anything else?
No,
Ro?
that's all I know. All I know is that she went on a podcast and they had some sort of couples therapy live.
Oh, wait. I haven't seen this one, but there is a podcast where this guy brings people on and they do like couples therapy.
No,
Isn't
no,
that
no,
one?
no,
Have you
no.
seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one.
That one's a crazy one.
Well, it's
where
like-
they were just talking about how this woman, like, all she does is like get credit cards and like she just churns through money and they basically don't have money for like a house or food and stuff.
I see the one where there's like a financial advisor.
It's the financial
Oh,
advisor,
guy.
that one. Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
pretty
sorry.
funny.
Yeah. So wait, I can go online. I can see this podcast then.
Yeah, so they have a podcast. I think it's just them two. They're talking about their marital issues for everyone to hear. She also does TikTok. And
What's the
then
name? Can I look it up now?
Pastor Andrew, brother.
It's
Is that-
Pastor
it's called
Andrew.
Pastor
That's his
Andrew.
name, man. That's crazy. Yeah, again, back to why is all this online? Why do I know about the personal life of some reverend and his wife
Sarah
from
Kim. I found it.
Quite a healthy marriage, it sounds like. I think they'll last.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Andrew talking shit about Sarah at his pastor sermon. I want to share with you something struggling with. Yeah, wow. This guy actually just goes and puts his wife on blast
Yeah, at
in a
church.
sermon. What exactly is he preaching is the top comment. Is this a sermon or comedy club?
Yeah, that's a lot of the top comments. Like people thought it was like stand up,
Yeah, what
like
the hell?
satire. So
I
yes,
thought, why doesn't she just leave him?
because first of all they're married. under
Another
the
baby.
name of God, Sen. And she is now pregnant with his child.
Damn, that's
And she is the main breadwinner. She's pregnant. She works 2 jobs. And his bum husband's playing video games half the time.
Yeah, but what's his rank though on Valorant? You know,
Exactly.
It's a Twitch career,
Exactly.
blooming.
Yeah, I don't know. Why would you put this out there for people to see?
Why? Because like I don't know.
Yeah, what do they gain from this?
There's literally I don't know. Is she famous now? How many?
I
does she have
feel
followers?
probably.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe is this a
But
ruse?
At what cost though?
What do you think this is like a publicity
Oh.
stunt?
No, I don't think so. Like, why would you do that? It's like the dumbest thing of
No,
all
but
time.
the sermons are proof that it can't be a.
Yeah. So we have the husband. Seems like the husband, has some issues with the wife. They have some issues together. Husband goes out and then just, roasts her
her
in
on
front of the
blast.
congregation. Then she's like, you know what? In return, what I'm going to do is like scheme. We'll do this podcast together where I air my dirty laundry out to you directly, put it online for everyone to see, knowing that the public are obviously going to be on her side.
It's a big conspiracy from you.
No, it's just a theory that I have.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts, Manu?
But yeah, why is it on the internet? And second of all, leave this man, dude. He's a bum.
No good.
Alrighty, the game today is Taboo. Very simple. You guys are going to give each other words, and you're going to have to try and get the other person to guess the word, but you're not allowed to use that actual word to describe it, if that makes sense.
A lot of words.
A lot of words. On top of that, I'm going to give you guys rules for each round. And then if you break that rule, you automatically lose the round and you got to move on. Does that make sense?
Yep, let's go.
All right, first round. Ro, you'll be getting Migs to guess your words. And the rule for this round, for both of you, is you can't say the words yes or no.
All right.
Okay.
I got 2 words. The first word is something you do on a social media post.
Like,
The other one.
share,
There's a third.
comment.
Yes, sir.
That's it. You're out.
I've done that.
Bro, you
All right,
goose.
Migs, you're up now.
All right.
And the rule still remains. You can't say yes or no.
Why have I done that?
So he has to guess my words.
He has to guess your words now.
Okay, makes sense. My first word is when you're at church, you something the Lord.
You praise.
Correctamundo. All right. Second word. When it's rush hour, and that's not a good one. You go to a concert, there's a
He said no, that's not a good one.
All right. Round one continues.
This is harder than you think,
All
boys
right,
and
Ro,
girls at
back
home.
to you. Round one still. Rule still remains. You can't say yes or no.
All right, I got the hang of this. That's just so natural.
Dude, I didn't even hear that one.
Are we doing the same words? Is that
No, you got new words. Find new words.
round words? All right.
Find new words,
Okay,
but the rule is the same.
This is odd.
okay, cool. So the first word that I have is, it's like a couple in a deck of cards. If you're playing poker, you have trips, but the one below that is,
Double?
yeah, but what's that called when it's
Yes,
a
you
Pair?
said yes. You said yes.
No way, did I actually?
You did. You said yeah.
That's not yes.
Yeah, it is. It essentially
We've
is.
got to do that.
All right. Bow. Migs, back to you.
Now
New
I have
words,
to
please.
think about every single word I say.
Am I a donkey? What's going on? It's too early for this.
First, respectfully, it's 11 a.m., bro. All right. First word. Use something your bed in the morning.
You make your bed.
Indeed. Second word.
Is there a time limit on this or what?
No.
Dude, how much harder do you want to make it?
He said no.
Oh my.
Why are you doing this, bro?
Got him.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
you're a dog for that, Ro. All
right,
right, back
you're
to
all.
you, Ro.
Let's be very careful.
Can we please get out of round one?
There's more to this.
Yes.
Okay. This is something you do when you drink wine. It's an action word. Any drink that you have, you take a
Sip.
bingo. All right.
Okay.
The next word that I have, this will be easy. So I'm just gotta mentally prepare myself. It's not a boy, it's a
Man.
no, don't.
You said no.
Dude, this guy's sitting here sabotaging me.
Okay, you can't do that. You can't purposely.
Right.
You can't.
Man, he just sat there.
good.
So
trying-
good.
Yeah.
That's good. You're 1-1 now. You're 1-1 for
All right,
that.
let's help each other. Right, let's
okay.
not.
No more of this snaky
Let's
business.
stop with this. Let's
All
stop with this.
Still round 1 continues.
Oh my gosh.
Cannot say 2 certain words. All right. First word.
That was good.
It's not a
No, that was
it's a
class. That was class.
It's
I was wondering why you took so long.
It's another word for average.
medium.
Medium.
I don't know. Like,
Different word, Ro.
give me something else. Average,
Opposite of nice.
mid. Sorry.
By nice, I mean you're being nice to someone. If you're not nice to someone, you are
mean. It is mean.
correct, sir. Second word.
Be very careful here.
Second word.
Mhm.
You have a project.
Mm.
You need to do it.
Deadline.
It is
Procrastinate.
something on Friday.
Oh, it is due on Friday.
Bingo.
Ding, ding, ding.
Well done. All right.
I feel so restricted.
Okay. Miguel, you get the first point. Now, round 2.
Okay.
The rule continues that you can't say yes or no. Now you can't say as well.
Oh, it's all right. No worries. I think.
Okay.
Yes or no? I'm having trouble with the yes or no part. Okay. Migs, the word is, it's popular saying.
Okay.
How long is a piece of
String.
C?
I mean, if you translate
You
to
can't
English, sir.
C, C,
I
C.
know. We'll play on.
The next one is, I think it's, wow.
Easy, he said.
Easy.
Do I count that or?
I call myself
All
brother.
right, fine.
When you listen in on someone's conversation, you are what?
Eavesdropping.
Bingo.
Well done.
Here we go.
All
Here
right,
we
it's
go.
1-1. Now back to you, Miguel. Round 3. You can't say words that start with the letter L. On top of not saying yes or no, and on top of not saying
Oh, this is crazy. All right, let's go.
Okay, no, that's fine. As long as Miguel doesn't say it.
I have to think about every single word. All right. This word
It's like ESL class when you're learning English for the first time and you have to really think.
is a group of things.
Fantastic.
You buy things. When you buy multiple things, it comes in a
Pack
different word.
comes in a bunch. Comes in a.
Close.
Okay. When you buy things, you buy them together. Comes as a pairing, a triplet. Is it like another word for bunch?
You were close with bunch.
Okay.
The first 3 things
Yep.
were correct.
BUN. Bundle.
Correct.
Bang.
Wow.
All right.
All right.
Next one.
Second word is where you wash your hands.
Bathroom. Toilet.
Specifically
Sink.
correct.
Wow. Okay. All right.
2-1. All right, it's 2-1. Next round. Your next rule on top is you can't say any words that start with F.
All right.
So F, L,
Can't say yes or no.
yes, no,
And no arms.
Wow.
Okay. The first word.
Gone. All right, back to you, Miguel.
All right. I don't know how many more I could do with
And
this.
potentially, perhaps, for the win. If you get to 3, I'll give you the win.
This is dead set embarrassing. All right, let's go.
Word number 1 is
Yep.
a key ingredient
In
when making a dish.
oil. Flour.
It is similar to onions,
Shallots.
ginger.
Garlic. Bang.
Bang.
All right.
I was actually quite good at this.
Second word is when you have an infestation at home, you call something control.
You call pest control.
Just like
There
that,
we go.
Miguel, 3 points. Wowee.
I don't want to talk like that ever again. I have to think about literally every word, and I can't verbalize my thinking, and I can't confirm nor deny. That's crazy.
Well done, Manu.
It's a tough game. Alrighty, we're back with top fives this week. We all have a couple. Ro, you can kick us off. Ro, what are your top 5 easiest corporate jobs?
At number 5, I've gone IT managers. Because to be honest, I don't know really what they do. All I know is that when I worked at a previous company, my IT manager used to play chess all day long. So
Is that the bloke you go to for IT help?
Yeah,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
That, wait, is that what you mean? Like
that's the one.
Okay.
He just sits there. Okay, so an IT manager, right, from what I understand about this career, is they basically just do nothing until something goes wrong. They're basically just on call 24/7. And then when something goes wrong with the infrastructure or something goes out, then they're called into action. But for like 95% of your job, cruisy.
But I feel like at big places, they're going to be busy all the time.
That's what they want you to think.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's cruisy as.
Brother, at my place, I've seen this IT guy watch the NBA on the big screens half the time, man. Of course, when you come in, he'll help you with your laptop
Yeah,
and whatever
yeah, yeah.
may have you. But
You know,
once you leave, he's looking back at your Lakers versus Mavs.
All right, number 4, I've got customer success manager. So if you
What is that, bro?
Okay, so this is a slightly more niche thing. It's a sales thing. So when you close a deal, if it's large enough, if the company's big enough, you then toss it over the fence to the customer success manager, and it's their job to kind of just talk to them about how you can implement your software, and you basically just kind of nurture that relationship.
Isn't this just an account manager with extra steps?
No, because the account manager has sales targets. They're there to upsell. The customer success manager, all their job is to just like support them.
Oh, so they're just
Make sure the
relationship
customer is
managers.
successful.
Yeah, correct. Emotionally support them, financially support them if you will. It's a beautiful job. And
I assume these are the ones that take them out to lunches sometimes.
It's
you know,
all
every
that.
now and again. Just
But then when the client has problems, surely they come to you then.
yeah, but again,
but then you offload it to the people that can help.
you offload it to
it is a middleman.
engineers. It's just,
Okay.
it's honestly, dare I suggest, the perfect career.
Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3, I've got business analysts. So these clowns, right, all they're doing is writing tickets. They don't have to think about, the grunt work. They don't have to think about any strategy or vision. All they do is document the requirements for the developers. That's it. That's their whole job.
Right.
Why do I feel like business analysts do more than that?
Yeah, I feel like don't BAs have different roles wherever like they work? So they could have different remits, really.
Their main remit, though, if you're at a tech company at least, is just putting down the requirements for the developers, and they give them a big fancy title called business analyst, which makes you seem like an absolute big dog.
Do they get paid like a big
They
dog?
get paid like a big dog
Oh,
as well.
really?
It's a fun job. If you get into it, fair play to you.
Where's the analysis?
What do you mean analysis? There's no analysis.
Well, why are they called business analysts then?
I don't know.
Where's the analyst part of it?
It's just business. It should be called really just business writers because they're just writing stuff. That's
Okay.
it. That's their whole
All
job.
right, play on.
Number 2, I've got my favorite Scrum Master.
Ah,
not
here we
this
go.
again.
Now, this is another beautifully, made up position designed to make your workforce agile and move away from this waterfall style of business. But in reality, okay, what I'm seeing with the Scrum Masters is they wake up, they do their stand-ups, they ask you, how are you going? What do you need to check in? What do you have to do today? They hear that, and then that's it. Off their way.
So wait, what do they do for the other 7 hours and 20 minutes of the day?
Well, to be honest, they're supposed to be planning like
The next sprint,
the next
potentially.
sprint and what we can
So what
work
do they do
on.
for the other 7
Capacity
hours
planning.
Of the day?
They look at Jira. They look at the velocity of the team. They say,
Okay. Surely
we
you can automate all this stuff.
Of course, yeah. They look at the story point. Like, we can get 20 story points in next sprint. This is what we should do. And then the rest of the week, I've honestly got no idea.
All right. What's number 1, Ro?
Number 1 is a Scrum Master, but when you get promoted from a Scrum Master, the next level up is even more fugazi. It's called an Agile Coach. Now,
What's the difference between a Scrum Master and an Agile Coach?
I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell you. It's just another name, but you just get paid more. And I think you manage the Scrum Masters. It's more an
Also, there's
organizational
another idiot
level.
on top of that.
Yeah.
So you're coaching the Scrum Masters how to Scrum, essentially.
That's literally the job.
So they wrangle all the scrum masters.
Bro, anyone could be a
Do
scrum
what, though?
master.
Like, what are they going to do? Like, what do you tell the scrum masters to do?
You tell them how to run the processes. You tell them how to.
But shouldn't that be the scrum master's job to know how to do the processes?
Well, I don't know. There's apparently a manager on top of that coaching the scrum masters how to do that.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and
How much do they get paid?
Dude, they get paid like 200 grand. Yeah.
To do essentially nothing.
It is literally a 10-hour work week, if that. It seems like the dream, but the risk is, right? You're the first one to go. Like
You're
all these
absolutely the first to let go.
all these layoffs that the banks and all these tech companies are having, mate, scrum masters, agile coaches,
Gotta
bang.
go. Yeah.
But there was a period of like 5 years
Where?
where if you were in that space, mate, best corporate career you can have.
So you reckon it's done? You can't really have this role anymore.
I don't think so, because most companies, well, we're going into a recession. I feel like-
Companies are cluing on that they're a bit useless, I reckon.
yeah. And you don't get scrum masters or agile coaches in actual, real tech. You just get them at legacy companies, and they're looking to do transition. It's like consulting. It's like they want to move to a more, faster, agile, more way of working. So they hire all these agile coaches and scrum masters to make it happen.
But now they've been coached.
Yeah,
And now
they've
they don't
learned,
need the coaching anymore.
and they got to get rid of them.
Fair enough.
Bro, unfortunately, had to duck out, so it's just me and you, Migs. All right, next one. Give me your top 5 office snacks.
Alrighty. Before I get into the top 5, just an honorable mention to pastries, because I feel like not enough offices provide it, so I can't really put it in the top 5. But
True.
if you have it, it's delightful. Right, 5th one, I'm going basic. I'm going stock standard fruit. So I think every company provides a bit of fruit. It's a good little snack to have if you need a little pick me up. But if you're looking at it, you're walking in the kitchen, you see a bit of fruit. It's not really inspiring.
Nah, I'm walking right past it, to be honest.
All
But
right.
it depends on what they have.
But the typical is like bananas, apples,
Yeah.
mandarins, maybe.
I'll be honest. During winter, I'm a slut for the mandarins. I'll
This
take
is-
3-4 a day.
It's mandarin winter season.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, maybe I'll get on in winter.
Yeah. Get around it.
All right, 4th one I have is biscuits. Again, biscuits is a wide.
I was going to say.
It's a wide variety. The problem with biscuits and why I can't put it high is most of the time it's those Arnott's biscuits that come in
Agreed.
that pack of 2.
Agree.
And most of the time it's a poo too. I have to dig around for like one that has maybe a cookie or something exciting.
good. What about
exactly?
Tim Tams?
Tim Tam's a very good shout, but I don't think enough places offer it as a biscuit for me to think when someone says biscuits, I think Tim Tams. I think those sort of ones.
Yeah, okay.
My mind straight goes to Arnott's. Again, not inspiring, but I think a bit better than fruit.
Agreed.
Alrighty, in 3rd, I have chips. Now we're getting
You're getting interesting now.
interesting. All right,
What kind of chips?
we're talking just the multi-pack chips.
Yeah.
Like it depends what company you work at.
I was going to say, what brand are we talking?
Because the companies that don't have a partnership or deal or whatever, they'll just buy a multi-pack of Smith's chips or
Yeah.
Doritos or whatever you can get from the supermarket. But the other companies that have a deal with companies that do their snacks, they might have more exotic ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, Harvest Snaps, for example.
Oh, yeah.
those
yeah. Grain waves.
popcorners, grain waves, like those sort of more exciting, enticing ones.
Give me a Red Rock Deli. If a place has a Red Rock Deli, I'm going
You
immediately.
go in Red Rock Deli, honey soy chicken,
Oh, I was going to say the sweet
chili.
chili one.
Those you can't go wrong. Again, I feel like not enough companies. If you have that, chips could be higher.
Okay. All right, number 2.
Number 2, I'm going toast.
No.
I'm going
Okay,
toast.
You've lost me here.
Respectfully, it goes to
No.
because it's the variety of the spreads they can give you.
Well, that's what I say. You're not saying toast. You're saying the condiments, the spreads.
What place is giving you bread and a toaster without the spreads?
No, I don't know. Some sad.
Name me one, bro.
Government probably.
Exactly. So a typical office will have a big, maybe even individual butters, for example.
Yep.
And then in
Delightful.
the jars, you have the individual like jams, Vegemite, Nutella, peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
The variety there is crazy. If you want something sweet, you chuck in the Nutella. If you want a little some, you put some Vegemite potentially, or you
Yeah.
can go jam PB&J, mate.
Yeah. True. That's true. You have options.
Because
there.
you have options. And then if you're a little sicko, you can use the bread for your own purposes. I don't know, make a sandwich or something.
Oh, I mean, isn't that allowed?
But like, have you ever gone into the office with, I don't know, packed ham and cheese?
No, I
And then
wouldn't,
you
but-
just slapped it on office bread.
It's not a bad idea though.
The versatility, I think, is why it goes to.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, number 1, the big boy. I'm going chocolates.
How many places have chocolates?
A lot
though?
of places
Really?
have chocolates. Like the snack-sized Kit Kats is the main one
I
that
would
most
love
places
that.
have. Tim Tams, am I counting that as a chocolate?
Yeah, you got to count Tim Tams as
Count
chocolate.
Tim Tams in. If some place have multi-packs of chocolates, I don't know, like Dairy Milk's favorites,
Yeah.
all this and all that. Chocolates are the first thing to go. So one of the
I
old
agree.
places I worked at had a lot of jars with, as I've said, biscuits, the spreads, teas, like other things. Tim Tams. But my God, I didn't know that they stocked Kit Kats until I went in on Monday one time and saw there were Kit Kats. They're gone by Monday afternoon.
Fair enough. They're hot. I reckon by Monday lunch they're gone.
Exactly, they're gone, but everything else stays. So that's a testament to why I think chocolates are the number one office snack.
I agree with that. What about honorable mentions for perhaps like Milo, hot chocolate? Thoughts on those or nah?
I don't really care for the drink side of things, to be honest, because they're staples. They do the job. And
Fair
I feel
enough.
like most people buy their drink. Like they buy a coffee, they buy a chai latte, for example, a matcha, I don't know.
One of my favorite things is when you go to the kitchen and someone's perhaps for their team has bought like pastries, like you said earlier, like donuts or whatever,
Yeah.
or like loon croissants.
Yeah.
And it's like leftovers and it's a free for all in the kitchen. That's honestly some of the highlights of my day. You just go ham, free pastries.
My highlight, the best part about that is before people tuck in, they suss what it is. They suss whether it's for a specific group or suss if it's free for all.
Usually they leave a little sign, you know.
But when there's no sign, it's funny.
Then it's I don't
you
touch it.
watch it. You watch people walk past eyeing it, but they don't get it yet because they don't know if it's for them yet.
We have a whole Slack channel dedicated to free food around our building. So it'll tell you what level.
Vultures.
Where you need, it's called seagulls.
Oh my gosh.
So if they'll say, all right, guys, you've got free pizza, level 7 kitchen. And you just see people running.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. All right. Well, I'll move to you, Senny. Senny, what are your top 5 Sydney corporate food courts?
All right, at number 5, I have the Canteen at Barangaroo.
Shocking at 5th.
You thought it'd be higher?
I thought it'd be much higher.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought they've fallen off massively. I've always said the glory days of the Canteen were pre-COVID, like 2019, 2020. And then COVID decimated them and a lot of the good tenants left. And now there's really only just that Malaysian place that's serviceable.
That is true.
Actually, no, that's a lie. You know what? That Malaysian place is pretty good. I'm sorry,
It's
Ipoh Town.
Ipoh Town's very good, man. Whenever I go to Canteen, to be fair, to your point, that's the only place I think about getting food from.
Exactly. So, and I will say Georgie Boys used to be good, but the Georgie Boys fall off needs to be studied. Something happened and they fell off massively.
Fix up. But it's still busy, right?
Still busy, but
Yeah.
it's, I think 5 is a good
Past
place.
its peak.
Number 4, I've got Australia Square.
What's that Australia Square, Senny?
Australia Square, they've got my favorite, GYG.
Yep.
They've got my other favorite, Ryan's Bar.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a lie. I hate Ryan's Bar, but they have good lunch deals, so I don't mind it. And you can get a beer.
Yep.
They've also got your classics. They got like a Boost. They've got like a kebab shop, a couple of Asian places. They got, what's that other one? There's like a nice cafe there as well. They got options. It's
Options.
decent.
Yeah. And then options you would be familiar with.
Options you'd be familiar with,
Right.
correct.
Play on. Number 3, Senny.
Number 3, I've gone MLC Centre. Classic.
Alright.
Class. Again, you've got a GYG there, but you have fish and chips. There's a KFC there. I can't stress to you how important that is, having a KFC there. Surely at lunch you've been like, what can I go for? You look around, you mosey around, you look at your sushi shops, you look at the fish and chips, you look at, I don't know, fucking schnitz, and you're like, you know what? I want a zinger burger.
I've never gotten a zinger burger for
Never.
lunch. No, Senny, I have not.
All right, I guess we're all just lying then, are
Oh,
we?
yeah. There we go.
Number 2, I've gone to Pitt Street Mall Shopping Centre Food Court, the upstairs one.
So you're talking Westfield,
The Westfield.
not the downstairs,
Not the
dingy
downstairs.
looking one?
Not
Upstairs.
the dingy one.
All right,
The upstairs one. The
Gotcha.
upstairs one is number 2 because there's plenty of options, but the only problem is it's a bit expensive.
Yeah, the price point there, if you're in for office and for lunch, I don't think you want to spend too much. It's maybe. It's a maybe.
But they got some nice sit-down restaurants. There's like Ipudu Ramen.
Yep.
They've got Flappies, for example.
Yep, they do.
But then they also have your normal like fast food places. They've got like Zoo Street Greek. Can't
Yep.
go wrong with that. There's another burger place that I forgot the name. That's
I know what you're talking about. There's a burger.
They also
yep.
have the Chinese place. The
Lock dumplings. No,
there is a
Din Tai
Lock
Fung?
dumpling. No, the one that in Macquarie Centre where they give you like they just heap on
Fortune Alley.
There's a Fortune Alley there's a Fortune Alley up there, and there's always a line, and it's delightful.
Man, a Fortune Alley would go heavenly at lunch.
It would. It actually would.
But I feel like it'd knock
But
you
you're
out.
knocked out. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're knocked out.
That's
And
a good variety of options.
good variety, I will say. And number 1, I've kind of cheated here. It doesn't exist anymore, but Hunter Connection. Number 1. If you wanted a cheap Asian meal for lunch, Hunter Connection. Dude, they had banh mi's for $5. They had like one choice and one rice from like your Chinese or Malaysian for like $7, $7.50.
Serious?
Yeah. Dude, Hunter
Oh.
Connection, you go during lunch, it was so packed, but so good.
I never went.
You never went.
I think I've missed out.
You missed out. So they obviously knocked it down. I think they're making the metro there. The Hunter
Maybe they're
Street
also
Metro.
not making money. $5 banh mi in this economy, mate.
This was back in 2019. So
Even
this is the
still
heyday.
in that economy, that's still cheap.
It was so cheap and so good. So
Wow.
Hunter Connection number 1, always in my heart. Alrighty, second to last one. Migs, what is the top 5 things only Sydney siders would know?
Alrighty, at number 5, we're going with the fountain bubble baths. So we're talking Martin Place.
Martin Place.
And we're talking Hornsby as well.
Oh,
It happens at Hornsby more than you think. The Hornsby fountain at Westfield, if you know, you know. If you're on Reddit and you subscribe to r/Sydney, every couple of months you're going to see which idiot did this.
I love it.
And it's a photo of the Martin Place fountain just with bubbles all over
just
it.
Froth City.
So someone empties a whole bubble bath or soap and then it just froths.
I want to know, what time of day do people do it? There must be during the middle of the night or early morning. Because you're surely not middle of the day. You're not standing there pouring detergent into.
No, I don't think it has to be a in secrecy at night sort of thing. First of all, if you do it at night, I feel like it's gone by the day, right? Because the water keeps cycling. And second of all you have to do is get a little bottle of detergent, just chuck it in and walk away. That's all you have to do.
It's not illegal though, is it?
I feel like it might be because you're like defacing. Are you defacing? You damage because it damages the fountain.
Does it?
Yeah, because it recycles the water, right? So I think it's not good for the system for detergent.
Bit of harmless fun, innit?
Bit of harmless fun, but I feel like it's frowned upon, borderline illegal, but I put that in number 5.
All right.
Number 4, I have gone with a classic. I've gone with the George Street Town Hall KFC.
Classic.
If you are not from Sydney and you walk onto George Street and you look at that KFC, you're thinking, my God, what health codes does this violate?
Well, it depends on what time of. Oh, you mean just in general?
In general, you're looking at it, you're probably spitting at it and saying, I'm never going there again. But come at night, you go to a couple bars, you go to a couple clubs, you have your night out, you come back to Town Hall at 3 a.m., you look at KFC and it looks like the heavens doors have opened. The smell, the waft from the street of fried chicken at 3 a.m. is heavenly.
I don't know how, they must have like a fan or something that just pumps it out.
Because they know that's how they get half their business, man. Because that's how I've bought KFC from there half the time. I'm walking home to take the 607 bus home, and all of a sudden I smell the KFC. I'm like, it'd be rude not to at this point.
I'll tell you what, though, there is no amount of money in the world you could pay me to work at that KFC.
Yeah.
Just I reckon the absolute abuse you would cop on a Friday, Saturday night.
And even not direct abuse, just the shenanigans that go on.
Like just watching people. Dude, we saw someone get, was it stabbed or?
We walked out of the KFC.
Yes.
We heard a ruckus. We thought nothing of it. And the next day we read a headline that someone got stabbed in that KFC.
Literally like maybe 5 minutes or 2 minutes after we left. So there's things you would see there as well.
And you're getting paid the same amount as a local KFC worker.
Yeah.
So what's the point of me going there and dealing with all this?
Nah, not worth it.
But the food, if you are drunken at night, it is
delightful.
God's nectar. It is absolutely delightful. So if you know, you know. I admit this is a very niche one, but at number 3, I'm going the Top Ride car park. I have lived in Sydney for 27 years. I still don't know how to navigate that car park.
I was going to say, dude, how does this make your top 5, dude? I hate this car park.
But that's what I mean. If you don't know about it, you just think, it's another, I'm going to the shops, another car park. Let me just navigate there and go.
Whoever designed that car park is a sick man or a sick woman, sick individual.
There's like 5 entrances. There's like 2 ramps on each side of the street that go up and down.
Dude,
and then like I have never parked and entered the shops knowing where I am.
Dude, it's actually a labyrinth. And there's no rhyme or reason to the car park. And to be honest, even the whole shopping center in itself, Top Ride, is also designed in the most moronic way possible.
Yeah, there's like a big escalator section, but then there's also an outside.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I've been to Top Ride a lot and I still don't know how to navigate this car park.
I try and avoid Top Ride. If someone tells me we're going to Top Ride, I'll park outside. It's not worth it.
Yeah, but that's why it makes the top 3, just because like, imagine you didn't know about Top Ride car park.
Yeah.
And then I tell you, Sen, let's go Top Ride.
Just
put in Google Maps and you're like, where do I park? What do I do?
The pure fuckery of it. Fair enough.
Exactly.
Number 2.
In number 2, again, a very niche one. I've gone the Ashfield escalators.
I'm not familiar with this one.
All right. So this one is for the hectics. So the law is in the Ashfield Mall, there's an escalator outside Liverpool Road and it has been broken or in progress of fixing for like 10, 15 years.
Oh, really?
So the residents have never seen it working.
That's crazy.
Until like last year or the year before, I think it was working again, and then it was broken in a week. So there is this set of escalators in Ashfield that is just permanently broken.
I kind of want to go see this now, make a pilgrimage of it.
Exactly. So that's what I've heard. I want to see it as well, but it is if you know, you know situation.
Okay. Number 1.
Number 1, the quintessential thing you would know if you're a Sydney sider is the Sydney chicken line. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell is the chicken line? If you're not from here, you definitely don't know what the chicken line is. But as the fable goes, you can divide Sydney culturally by where there is a Red Rooster and where there is a like a El Jana Frango situation. You can split up El Jana Frango's Chargrilled Charlie's is now on the line.
Yeah.
And Red Rooster.
Is it culturally or is it class-wise?
I don't want to, divulge into that, but it can be a bit of class, a bit of culture. But if you draw that line, you see, right now it's blurred.
I was going to say
They're starting to blur it, which might be indicative of, modern day culture and multiculturalism and all of that.
Which were for or against? No, we're for.
We are 100% for. But I would give it its prime maybe
I reckon
2-3 years, even 2-3 years ago.
I first heard of the chicken line maybe when we were in high school, late high school, so 2014, 15.
Yeah. That one you just had to divide with the Red Rooster.
It was just the Red Rooster line was what it was called back then. And it was essentially you could draw a line in Sydney by plotting out where all the Red Roosters were. And anything west of that line happened to be Western Sydney. And all the affluent, nicer suburbs were east of the Red Rooster. Essentially what they were saying is these nice suburbs don't get Red Rooster.
Yeah. Whereas now you can divide it into 4 parts. You got the Char Grill Charlies, which is eastern suburbs, upper class, whatever. Then you got
North Shore as well.
North Shore. And then you got Eljana, which is sort of southwest / west-ish.
I will say Eljana's the one. I reckon they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah,
there's one in Crow's Nest now. And there's one, I think, somewhere in
Newtown.
Newtown. So
nowadays you can't use this. The Eljana.
I reckon they're the exception to the rule.
But give it 2-3 years ago, it was just south of Parramatta, like Parramatta Road, south of Parramatta River.
Yeah.
That was Eljana territory.
Yeah.
And then you got Frango's. That's
Frango's as well. They've also kind of scattergun approach.
But the main one was, Red Rooster.
Red Rooster.
That's where you start to capture the west, the northwest.
Correct.
Penrith onwards, that sort of place where people may or may not look down upon, but that's the chicken line. You can divide Sydney into its cultures and its classes by where the chickens are. All right, that's the top 5 Sydney side of things. Senny, we're going to the last one. Sen, what are your top 5 sneakiest speed cameras in Sydney?
All right, at number 5, this one isn't sneaky as such, but it's on the most annoying road in Sydney. I've gone the one at Parramatta Road in Auburn, just past the Hungry Jacks.
Yes.
That one, it's there, but it's just in that section of Parramatta Road where it's always banked up with traffic. And sometimes, the traffic, there's always a bit of a gap. So you maybe speed up to try and catch up to the cars in front of you, but then you slow down because you're like, oh shit, it's 60 here.
Yeah.
I haven't been caught out by it, but I always forget it until I'm there. And then I remember like maybe 100 meters away from it.
And the thing about Parramatta Road, it's like feels like an open road, feels like a highway, feels like you can just go.
Yeah, yeah.
So especially if you're like late at night where there's not too much traffic, you got to eyes up. You got to remember that it's there or else you're getting caught.
All right. At number 4, I've gone for a niche one.
Sure.
This one is Old Northern Road in front of St. Bernadette's Primary School.
This is niche. But to your last point, I forget about this a lot of the time.
So this one is in Castle Hill for the Hectics. And the reason why I bring this one up is one of our dear friends has been caught not once, but twice by the same camera going both ways. So if that doesn't tell you how sneaky this camera is, and the thing is, it's right in front of a school. So there's a school zone. And so it says 40. So obviously during the school times, it's 40 kilometers. There's no other speed signs there. So you actually don't know what the speed...
Yeah, is it a 50? Is it a 60?
I've never known if it was a 50 or 60. So even like it can be midnight and I could be driving past it and I'll go 40. I'll just go the school zone speed.
Yeah. If my memory serves me correct, our friend got done on the same drive.
Same drive?
So you went somewhere, got caught, did his business there, and then when he was coming home, he got caught again on the way back. So that paints a picture. But what I hate about these ones, especially in the school zone, is school holidays.
Yeah.
Is it on? Is it not on? How does the camera know that school is off right now?
Yeah, that's always thrown me. Does it know? It does, right?
I feel like they program it to know. But then what if, Monday? Like school's back on Tuesday. Do they know Monday is a day?
Well, I've always wondered, how school comes back, but then the first day is like the staff developmental day. Does that count as a...
Who knows?
I don't know.
That's the problem. So you're going 40 when you could realistically be going 60.
Yeah, so that's a sneaky one. Number 3, I've got the Eastern Distributor at Darlinghurst. Mate, driving in the city is already stressful as it is. Why are they chucking speed cameras in there? Dude, they've got like bus lane cameras, speed cameras. They randomly close lanes. There's always traffic. It's stress city, and this honestly does not help.
If I'm remembering this speed camera correctly, this is the only speed camera I've been done by.
Seriously?
Yes. I've only been caught once, and I believe he was here, and he was late at night, because that's a problem with the ones in the city. Especially tunnels, when it's late at night, there's no cars, it feels like you can go.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in the M7 and you can go 110. I wasn't going 110, right? But like, you don't realize the speed limit for some of these places is like 50 or 60.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the other thing about the city. Everything's 50, I think.
Yeah, but then if you're going at midnight, open roads, it seems like a 70, 80 sort of road. That's how I got done. So I can vouch for this one.
All right. Number 2, I've got the Roselle Interchange speed camera. So I think, was it last year, or maybe the year before, they've recently opened up that Roselle interchange.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 months, no one used it because they thought it was a toll road.
Yeah.
And then they finally got people to use it. And apparently in the first month, they had thousands of people who got done for speeding. But what they did was, instead of fining them, they sent everyone warning letters.
Right.
They're like, we're in the testing period of the speeding camera. You got caught. This is a warning. Next time you'll get fined.
Did I get one of those? I don't know.
I know one of our friends got one of them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you lucky bastard. Like, because they were doing like maybe 20 over or something.
Oh, well, that shouldn't be a warning.
That should immediately be a fine for
If
me.
you're 5 over, warning. 20 over, you should get one regardless.
But I think, dude, new tunnel, man, don't put a speed camera in there.
Yeah.
At least let people use it first and then chuck a speed camera in there.
And the interchange is so confusing.
It is.
I was driving the other day. I missed my turn because I didn't know how to get like into the interchange, I think, coming from the city.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The lanes don't make sense. So if people are struggling, don't put a speed camera.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then number one, the one that I know most people will agree with me, is the M4 tunnel speed camera. I'll put my
Yes.
hand up. I got done by it recently.
Oh dear.
Driving my dad's car. So he got a letter. I got home one day. He pulls up a letter. He's like, you got fined. And I looked at it. It's like, it's your number plate. He's like, but you were driving that day. And I'm like, fair play. So,
He's done you there.
so I'll be fighting that one deep into 2025, I feel. But that one, I know multiple people have been done. Apparently what they do is it's a variable speed limit in the stupid tunnel.
In the tunnel.
So it's 80, but then times it can go down to 60, it can go down to 40. So I believe I got done doing 69 in the tunnel, but it was 80. So what it was a speed variable, came down to 60. I didn't see it, and then I got done.
Sneaky. If we're talking sneaky, that is a top one.
That is 100%.
The M4 itself, though, just honorable mention, is a average speed camera. You know
What?
that? That's how they do it on the M4. It's average
Which
speed.
part of the M4?
The whole M4. There's no speed cameras, but allegedly, I've never heard anyone get
Brother,
caught.
I can tell you there's a speed camera. I got done by it.
No, you're talking about the tunnel.
The tunnel, yeah,
I'm talking about the open
Oh, the
roads.
open section,
Parallel
yeah,
to
yeah.
Parramatta Road. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're going
yeah.
from, I don't know, James Roos Drive, to use a very specific example,
Yeah.
to the tunnel.
Yeah.
There's signs that say average speed camera.
Oh, I've seen those. I don't know if I think that there's just to scare people.
Yeah, this is not legal advice, right? Don't speed, but I've never heard anyone get caught, to your point. But that's what they allege.
I have seen that.
And I can say it kind of works. I don't see anyone gunning it down the M4.
Oh, I've seen multiple people, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. How would you get a sign? Would you get a fine for that? You averaged more than.
What I've heard is it gets the time where you entered and it figures out where you exited at that time and then just
If it's
took
speed
you-
distance time triangle.
exactly, they use the formula. Exactly. And that's how they figure it out. But again, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not.
We drove down to Melbourne for the F1 last weekend, and yeah, there's a stretch of the Hume Highway which has the average speed. But again, you just see people gunning at it. It's like meant to be 110, but people are going 120, 130.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just as a deterrent.
Yeah, last aside, this reminds me of Japan, Senny. When the motorway said, what was it? It was like 70 or something.
Okay, so we had to drive from some little town outside of Mount Fuji we were driving from Mount Fuji, that area, to some little town where they had the Shinkansen to get on a train to go to our next place. We cut it very fine, and we maybe had to get from A to B, which was maybe a 50-minute drive, and we had to get there in 45 minutes for our train.
Yeah.
So we were driving on the highway, and I was doing the speed limit, which was, let's be honest, it was silly. It was like 90 or 100.
It was less than that.
It was
like
something
70 or 80 on like a M7 style motorway.
Where we would have it at 110, they had it 70 or 80.
Yeah.
And I was driving, and I was getting antsy, and I said to Miguel, can you please look up the Japanese law and find out what's the fastest I can drive without getting fined? And you looked it up, and it was apparently you can go up to 40 kilometers over the speed limit and not get fined. So obviously I just put in cruise control, chucked it up to 110, and away we went.
That was crazy, man. That was actually crazy because I read it and yeah, it was saying like you can't the cameras won't detect you or something like that.
Something like
you can't get pulled over legally unless you are 40 over. All right. Well, then the suggestion at this point, plus minus 40.
40 over here in Sydney. Your car's getting impounded. You've got a court date. You're getting chucked in jail. That's
Imagine
insane.
going 80 in a 40 school zone. That's the type of vibe.
Well, that's like one of our soccer friends who got done on the Anzac Bridge, which is normally 80. And then he was going 80, but instead of being 80 that day, they were doing night roadwork. So the speed became 40.
Roadwork 40, yep.
So he got stopped. He got done by a roadside speed, like a mobile speed camera. They pulled him aside and they forced someone else to come. Like they took his car and someone else had to come drive all the way out to Roselle or wherever it was.
At like 1 a.m. or something.
1 a.m.
What a stitch up.
Anyway, those are our top 5. Let us know if you agree. Alrighty, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. If you think me and Ro were in the wrong to berate that old woman, please write in and let us know. Otherwise, we will catch you guys next week. You can catch all of our episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok. Miguel has something to say.
I want to jump in. If you think they were in the right, these are the people I want to hear from. If you think they're in the right, please also write in. I would love to hear the explanation.
There's a reason why I didn't say it, because I know no one is going to think we're in the right.
Well, you never know, but write in regardless. I want to know your thoughts.